15 minutes. Hi, Tori. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing fine. I'm glad to see you again.
I'm glad to see you too.
Good. When we met in August, we discussed making personal choices and the challenges of those choices. How's that going for you, Victoria?
Doing great. I've actually used that for my transitioning from middle school to high school.
Good, good. I'm glad to hear that. Well, before we get started, let me tell you about informed consent. Basically, what that means is that anything we discuss in our sessions will be kept confidential. I would only share anything we discuss if I felt like it was a harm to you or others. Okay? So, please know that we're speaking in confidence. I just wanted to make sure I clarified that. So, how's high school?
It's good. The only thing I don't like about it is all the peer pressure.
Peer pressure, okay. Give me some examples of the types of peer pressure.
Losing your virginity, stealing, and drugs.
Wow, those are three really large challenges there. Wow. How are you handling those?
It's hard, but I think I'm handling it in the best way possible that a freshman could.
Well, good, good. Well, let's explore that. So, the first one that you mentioned, losing your virginity. How do you feel about
I think losing your virginity should be safe for marriage and not as a teenager because you'll end up with something that you probably don't want to take care of at such a young age.
that? Okay, well, that's true. That's a definite opinion about it. Do you know anybody who has experienced the teenage pregnancy?
I actually have a very close friend there. She's 16.
Okay. And how did she handle that situation?
She was actually the party girl type and someone that you would kind of expect to get pregnant. And of course she did because she made the wrong decision, but she totally changed her act. I mean, from the way she dressed, the way she talked, even to what she ate, just to make sure that baby would come out really good and healthy and strong.
Okay. Well, it sounds like you have respect for her for handling her responsibility. Did she ever explain to you how she got into that situation?
She said that it was just from a lot of mistakes and peer pressure, like I was talking about earlier, and because she believed what the guy was telling her that he loved her, and you should just go, we should just get this over with, we're gonna be together forever, and it didn't really work out that way.
Wow. Um, so she basically said that the situation didn't work out. She thought she would be with this person, and the circumstances were different. How has that motivated you, or
It
has it motivated
it showed me that losing my virginity is not what's for me right now or anytime soon.
you? Okay, good, good. Well, it sounds like you have definite decisions about that, and I actually congratulate you on having definite opinions about waiting until marriage and not losing your virginity until you're ready. So I really do congratulate you. You mentioned drugs being a big problem. Of course, I've heard that before about high school. How do you handle that?
Drugs are very, very tempting, especially when you're having a bad day. I mean, there's at least one person in all of my classes that knows someone that sells drugs that can get their hands on drugs for you to try because they just really want you to, because they want you to get hooked on them like they are. That's cool in their opinion. And I have to say that that's one of the worst peer pressures for me because, when I'm having a bad day, my mind's not 100%, so there's all those little voices like, just try it, it may make you feel better. But then I have to remember that I have to stay true to myself and not fall into that peer pressure because not only could it possibly harm me, but I could get kicked off the dance team and out of academic classes, and that's just really hard.
Well, first, I really want to congratulate you on thinking about the consequences of those decisions. That relates back to what we discussed back in August. And I want to explore what you mentioned about having a bad day. So if you are having a bad day, what are some other ways that you could handle those frustrations?
Try to think about things that make you happy or talk to a friend about it. Go to the counselor and just blow it off, or maybe even just go to the restroom, cry it out, and just kind of push it back so you can get home and talk to someone about it.
Okay. Any other ways that you can relieve that frustration?
Maybe write it down and then throw it away.
Okay. That's very interesting. Why do you say write it down and throw it away?
Because if you write it down and throw it away, then no one will ever know how you really felt, and it'll be kind of personal with it.
Okay. Are there some other ways that you could keep that as opposed to just throwing it away?
Not that I know of, because if you keep it, then someone could read it, possibly.
That is true. That is true. They could. But writing things down is a great way to express your feelings, and it's also a great way to reflect on how you dealt with situations in the past. I'm hearing you say that you're going through high school and experiencing a lot of challenges with peer pressure. Keeping some type of journal or computer blog is a great way to process a lot of those experiences and deal with those feelings. I understand about keeping it confidential, but what do you think about keeping a password protected computer diary or something?
I don't know about that, because then the world will know your business. I'm just not really into that kind of stuff.
Okay, that could be a possibility. But what I found, if you keep the diary, you don't use names, and you make the situation very general when you mention it, it can be very useful to help you think about some things that have happened. So, would you consider doing that?
Now that you've explained it to me more, maybe I will consider it.
Okay. If you keep an iPad, that might be something you want to do. Very, very non-specific details and the emotion you felt in the situation. Just think about it. I encourage you to try it out for maybe 5 days. And when we meet again, you can tell me if I was helpful or not. Just a way to process those feelings. What else is going on with the peer pressure?
Stealing.
Stealing. Wow. Why do you think kids are stealing?
Well, actually, I have an example. One of my best friend's brothers, he's a very innocent kid. He listens to his mom and makes good grades on the football team and all that good stuff. But he decides to steal to impress a girl.
Hmm.
And he ends up getting caught and arrested.
Wow. Steal to impress a girl. Let's explore that. Why do you think someone would do that?
Because he wanted to show this girl that he was big and bad and tough and what society thinks of boys these days and how they should act.
Okay. Did he specifically tell you that, or did you uh, uh, make that, have that opinion or form that opinion on your own?
His brother specifically told me that that's why he did it.
Wow, his brother said that's why he did it. So how do you feel about that?
I think that was a very, very bad decision on his hand. But I think that since he went to jail, he actually learned from it. So it could be a positive and a negative, because he knows to never do that and to always be true to himself and not change himself for any girl, no matter what.
Okay. So change himself. Let's look at that. Why would a person want to change themselves?
I think that he wants to change himself to fit in and be popular.
Okay. Is being popular important?
In my opinion, it's not, but to other people it might be, because I feel like you go to school to get an education, and it's okay to be cool, but make sure that your main focus is on your education, because at the end of the day, just because you were cool in high school, that's not going to have anything to do when you become an adult. Because you can't go to a job and say, oh, well, I was cool, you should give it to me. They're going to actually walk out. You have to have education, say you went to college, and, be smart.
Okay. So what I'm hearing you say is that you go to school to get an education, and being popular is not a priority.
Yes.
Okay. I commend you for thinking that, but how do you feel when you're at school? Does your thinking change, or does it remain the same?
Most of the time it remains the same. I do have my bad days, so I'm just like, I don't feel like being here, so I'm just gonna, talk to my friends the whole day.
Is it a noticeable difference in how you're treated?
No, not really. Because I know at the end of the day, I'm still going to be the same employee that wants to get straight A's.
Okay, so I'm hearing you say that you have certain goals while you're in high school, and being popular, that's not one of your main goals, but is it important?
No, not really. Not to me.
Okay, it's not important to you. How do you see popular kids?
I see some of them as very stuck up and snobby and focused on the wrong things because they fail to realize that, just because you're still in high school, you haven't focused on any of your education. What are you going to do when you're older to support yourself? Because your parents aren't going to take care of you forever. So just because you're rocking the Gucci and the Louis and the Prada now, what are you going to have forward to look forward to as an adult?
That's an interesting approach. Now, you use the word stuck up and snobby. Do you think those words could be seen as maybe you might be judging them, or do you think those are appropriate words to describe
I
based
think
on what you've seen?
I think I could be judging them because again, I'm not friends with every popular person, so I don't know them on a personal level, and I never know why they could be acting that way.
Okay. Do you feel like there's a lot of judging in high school where people make opinions about people?
Yes, a lot.
Okay. How do you feel about
I feel that if that causes a lot of conflict, and it actually leads to fights at where I go to because it's a lot of she said drama. It actually just happened to one of the girls that are on my dance team Friday. One girl called her ugly, so the girl was like, "Well, approach me," and they got into a big fight because she said she was ugly, and she judged her. So the girl got mad and caused a conflict.
it? Okay. In a perfect world, what would high school be like for you?
High school musical,
High school musical, explain.
where you get to have your boyfriend, and school is just really easy, and then you go off to college, and then you marry your high school sweetheart, and you kind of just live happily ever after. No problem, no conflict, and you still get to go to all the parties and all that good stuff.
Okay, that's an interesting answer. What I gather from what you said is that you see it as you would like it to be a world where everyone is the same and treated the same, or did I understand you correctly?
Yes, everyone should be treated equally, not judged. I think high school should be a place where you basically get to try out being adult, kind of like a try. What's the word?
Okay, try out being
Yeah,
an adult. Okay, test like a test run.
yeah. That's what high
Okay,
school should be, and where you just kind of get to express yourself
okay, with judgment or without judgment?
without
Just
judgment.
clarify. Okay, without judgment. Okay. Well, we talked about a lot of things today, but the one thing that I did hear you say is that peer pressure, first of all, is big for you in high school. It can be very tough to handle. But I also heard you say that you're very confident in who you are and you believe a lot in yourself and you have certain things that you think are important. I also heard you say that grades are very important and that in the big picture, it really doesn't matter if you were popular in high school. But it does bother you slightly because you feel like everyone should be treated the same.
Yeah.
Okay. I really would like for you to try the blog idea for 5 days. I think it would be a great way for you to process a lot of these experiences and just see how you respond to them. I also bring that up too because when you're having the bad day, as you mentioned, it might be a good way to help you make a good decision when you might want to make a bad decision about something you do. Do you think the way you feel now will remain the same as you continue through high school and you get older?
I think it will probably start to change a little bit, just because maybe I'll just slip into the wrong crowd at one point, but then I think I'll snap back to my normal self and be like, okay, you gotta get focused. You don't want to be that person handing out fries and McDonald's. That's you can't support yourself like that.
So you see yourself as a person who just slipped into the wrong crowd?
Maybe at one point I could, but then I'd
Okay.
snap right back to reality.
Okay. What about outside support? do have outside support that you can talk to
Yes.
keep you in the right crowd,
Yes.
as you would say. Okay, good, good. Well, I'd like for you to continue to speak to those people and just remember how great you are. Um, Another good suggestion, you should put up some nice notes about yourself in a special place that you go every morning. I don't know if it's somewhere where you can see them every day, perhaps in your bathroom when you're getting ready in the morning. Just remind yourself who you are. Okay. Sometimes it's nice to see that when you are frustrated, just remind you how great you are and all the great things you've done. But I'd like to thank you for today. I've enjoyed our session. I hope you thought about some of the things. And when we meet again, I'd like to hear about keeping the blog and if it was helpful for you. And I commend you again on being confident in your beliefs and dealing with these negative or difficult situations. Thank you.
Thank you.